It's been 3 years since Steph Jevons left her home in Wales and embarked on an impossible dream, a solo trip around the world on her motorbike, Rhonda the Honda. 41 countries, over 100,000 kilometers later, Steph finally rode into Cape Town. John Webb was there.
Meet Steph Jevons, a fearless adventurer from Wales who's riding around the world on a 250cc motorbike called Rhonda the Honda.
I think anyone who's ever got on a bike has had that desire, really, to get on it and head for the sunset.
It's one thing to feel the urge to embark on a life of adventure, but quite another to act on it, even more so when that adventure involves biking solo across all 7 continents for more than 3.5 years.
My original dream was to ride to Borneo to see the orangutans. That was it. I just wanted to go and see the wildlife. And then I thought, well, if I go to Borneo, I might as well carry on to Australia. If I go to, and so on. I think a couple of tequilas later, and I was going to ride to 7 continents,
She left London's iconic Ace Cafe in March 2014 and rode across Europe through Turkey and into Iran, a country most of us would regard as dangerous.
Everybody's scared of their neighbours, Everybody's saying, we're okay, but watch out for those guys, they'll kill you. And so the Turks were warning me, as you're going through the mountains, don't stop for anything. So eventually, of course, I ran out of fuel, and these scary Kurds turn up and take me home and feed me and teach me about the Kurdish traditions, and it was a great experience. And the next morning they took me and the bike to the nearest garage. They washed the bike. That's one thing I've learned about men all over the world, is that they see a woman with a motorbike, they want to clean the bike, they want to know if you're married, they want to know how much the bike is worth, how fast it goes, and they want to fix it even if it's not broken. So I've had to literally push people away trying to fix things that aren't broken. And we must change the fork seals, and I'm like, no, really, they're fine,
After 42 countries, Iran now rates as one of Steph's favourites, and it's India she regards as one of the most challenging.
It's like riding on a knife edge, it's about survival, but it's amazing. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto in real life, It's like you're in the game, and I love that.
Her route took her over the Himalayas, on some of the most scenic mountain roads in the world, through Asia and down to Borneo, where she finally met the orangutans. From there, she crossed into Australia, amusing herself through the never-ending outback by dancing in the saddle. After flying to Argentina, she rode 4,000 kilometers to the tip of South America in pursuit of her ultimate goal, Antarctica. That meant having to cross the Drake Passage, one of the roughest seas in the world.
The only people that would agree to take me was on a 60-foot sailing yacht, and I had to become part of the crew. So I was terrified, I must say, and I thought, well, if I can just set foot on that boat and we leave, then there's nothing I can do about it. I've just got to go with it. And so it took 5 days. I was horribly sick for the first 2 days. I could not move. Little jar that I just sort of unscrewed and threw up in. It was horrific. And then once we got closer to Antarctica, we'd have to take it in turns, to watch out for icebergs and that kind of thing. But then it was a lot calmer once we arrived, and it was so worth it. It was stunning to see Antarctica,
After dropping anchor, the crew loaded Rhonda into a rubber dinghy and headed for Paradise Harbour, thus helping Steph to tick the box of riding on the remotest continent.
So far, so good. It was all going smoothly, and I was growing in confidence that we might just be able to pull this off. But one wrong move now in this ice-cold water and things could get serious very quickly. With good teamwork and the usual brute force and ignorance, we actually made it.
Steph and Rhonda the Honda had finally reached the remotest continent.
And boy, did it feel good.
And actually, a woman with a motorbike in Antarctica carries a lot of weight, We radioed ahead, and they were like, you have a woman and a motorbike? I'm not sure which was more exciting. I think probably the motorbike. So there was a lot of help. And then once we'd landed her once, we then continued around the peninsula, and there's a Ukrainian science base.
Tell us more about the Ukrainian scientists.
They count penguins, they look at the weather, and they drink a lot. They do drink a lot. They have lots of vodka and 5,000-year-old ice cubes, They helped us get the bike ashore. We all had a ride and a play in the snow, and then we got her into the base so they could get a picture in the base. They put on a big spread of food and beer, and we sang songs and played drinking games. It was absolutely brilliant. It was not what I expected in Antarctica, you know.
It sounds like you like a good party as well.
I'm Welsh, yeah, we're very similar in that sense.
To get back to South America, they hitched a ride on a Russian icebreaker. After riding up the Pacific coast of both South and North America, Steph decided to rest up in Canada for a few months.
It's a solo ride. I'm riding alone, but you're never really alone. I think being a biker, you're a part of a network, a worldwide network. I've stayed with every different type of religion. I've stayed with rich, with poor. I've slept on floors or in posh houses, and everybody's welcomed me, and it's really humbling.
After riding across Canada, they'd covered 100,000 kilometers with no mechanical problems. Rhonda was crated and put on a ship bound for South Africa and the seventh continent. And in Cape Town, they met up with an old friend, celebrity biker Charley Boorman. Adventure biking has attracted a global following, and much of that is thanks to Charley Boorman, who together with world-famous movie star Ewan McGregor has blazed a trail for people wanting to satisfy their wanderlust. The TV series Long Way Round documented their incredible journey circumnavigating the globe, and Long Way Down continued the adventure through Africa. Charley was in Cape Town to lead a bike tour to Victoria Falls.
When you say to people, I'm going off to South Africa to go riding, they go, oh, that's a dodgy place. And you go, is it? And they go, oh yeah, it's terribly dangerous. And they, have you been there? No.
Are you like a bear with a sore tooth when you're not out riding?
Yeah, if I spend too much time at home, I start to get itchy feet. And I think my wife does as well. The other day, I found my suitcase down by the front door. I think she was hinting like, okay, you've been here long enough now, Charley.
How many bikes do you have?
My wife is going to watch this, so I can't tell you. More than one. Yeah, no, I think I've got a dozen or so bikes.
Even though Charley has traveled the world on two wheels, he had a BBC budget and the support of a television crew. But Steph's journey had been completely solo, without support. Knowing what you know, do you think that Steph is a bit mad, or do you understand?
No, I think she's crazy. I'm a little jealous because she's been to quite a few more places than I have. She's a fascinating person. I think it's probably harder for a woman to travel, you know, by themselves.
A lot of people think it's harder as a woman. I've never done it as a guy, so I can't compare. But once you get out there, they're not seeing a victim on a bike, they're seeing a strong woman. And even in countries where people have told me to pretend to be married and to say that my husband is on his way, I've refused to do that and just said, no, I'm married to my motorbike. And the response is amazing. You know, everyone's saying, yes, you know, high five, you go, girl.
And Steph is off on the last leg of her epic journey, up Africa and all the way home, with Rhonda the Honda and the open road.